Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back to the channel. Today as I'm filming this, it is officially the first day of spring and I am super excited about that. I hope everyone is having a wonderful spring so far. Today I'm going to be cooking something completely from my food storage. We spent a lot of the day today at a cheer competition with my daughter. I didn't plan dinner because I didn't know what time we'd be home and we didn't have time to stop at the grocery store. Days like this is when I usually turn to my food storage, more specifically my freeze-dried food. Now I know a lot of people reserve their freeze-dried food for their long-term storage. That's understandable because it does have a 25-year shelf life. It's amazing for food storage. But if you don't use it in your everyday cooking, you're really missing out. Freeze-dried food makes cooking so quick and easy. It doesn't need a long cooking period. It really just needs to be refreshed. And everything's already chopped, diced, cooked, peeled. Everything is done for you, all the prep work. So I really don't have any prep work to do. I'm just going to scoop and dump, and I'll have a meal in no time. Even though today is the first day of spring, it's been a little chilly and it's starting to rain. It's pretty drizzly and dreary outside. So I thought it would be a good day for a warm pot of chili. So today we're going to have a cheesy enchilada chili, all from our food storage. I've got my lobster apron on today. This is for our good friend Mr. Q in New Hampshire. Hey there, Mr. Q, shout out to you. So the first ingredient in our chili, of course, is going to be beans. Now tonight I'm using instant beans. These are similar to instant rice in that they're cooked first and then dehydrated, so they cook up very quickly. If I was using just dried beans, I would have had to soak them overnight and cook them for hours to get them soft, but these beans will cook very quickly. They do need a little bit more time than our other freeze-dried ingredients, so I'm going to give them a little bit of a head start. So tonight I'm using black beans and Great Northern beans. The recipe calls for black beans 1.5 cups, but my family doesn't really like black beans that much, so I usually mix a lighter bean in with the black beans. So I'm going to use half of each, so 3/4 cup of each type of bean. And this is what they look like. Just look like beans. There's 3/4 cup of those. This is a brand new jar, so I think I'm going to have to actually open this up. Okay, so in with the beans, I'm going to put 4.5 cups of water, and I'm going to get this boiling and give them about 10 minutes to get a head start on the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to get this boiling and time 10 minutes and then I'll be right back. So these beans have been simmering not even 10 minutes. It's only been about 5 minutes and they're already basically soft and kind of ready to go. So I'm going to get on with the recipe. Now I need Hamburg for this recipe, ground beef. I'm using freeze-dried ground beef, but I had just a little bit left in the bottom of my canister, so I need to open a new can. Here's the oxygen absorber, which we don't need, so we're going to throw that away. That's done its job. Now this Hamburg is perfect when you're trying to cook a quick meal because you don't have to thaw it, you don't have to cook it, you don't have to drain it, there's no waste. Now this recipe calls for 2 cups of the Hamburg. I'm going to actually use half sausage and half Hamburg. I think it would add a little bit of extra flavor and we really like the sausage. But you can just use Hamburg if you like. I'm going to just finish off this cup with this new Hamburg that I just opened. And then I'm going to do a cup of sausage. So that's 2 cups of meat altogether, which is equivalent to about 1 pound. Next I'm using 3 cups of corn. And I already had 1 cup left and I just opened up a new can, so 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups of corn. And I'm also going to be using 1.5 cups of diced potatoes. And give this a little bit of a stir. Start to get this moistened. We are going to be adding quite a bit more water here. Okay, this is a 1/2 cup measure. I need 1.5 cups of potatoes, so I'm going to do 3 scoops. And then we're going to do 1/4 cup of green chilies. Now these chilies are not particularly spicy, and the recipe actually called for 2 tablespoons, but I'm going to double that and put in 1/4 cup because we really like the chilies. And now we're going to add in 6 cups of water. So I've got 4 cups right here. And I will be right back with another 2 cups. So you can see this pot is getting pretty full. This is going to be a big batch of chili. Now I'm going to let this simmer for another 10 minutes, so that'll be about 15 minutes of cooking time altogether. Now as this is simmering, I'm going to be adding some bouillon. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of beef bouillon and 1/2 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. I'm not really sure why you need to have 2 kinds of bouillon in here, but since I have both, I'm going to follow the recipe. But if you don't have both, you could just do one or the other, I'm sure. So we'll do 1 teaspoon of beef. This is a 1/2 teaspoon measure, so I'm going to put in 2 of those. And 1/2 teaspoon of the chicken bouillon. Now I'm also going to add in some taco seasoning. This calls for 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Now I keep my taco seasoning in this little dispenser. I really love this thing. You just have to pull the handle and give it a couple of clicks. Each click is going to be 1 tablespoon. Now I just refilled this, so I'm going to have to give it a few clicks before it actually starts to dispense because it has to fill each little slot. But I absolutely love this, so I'm going to give this 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Here we go, that's 2 tablespoons. I think you could probably also use chili seasoning in place of the taco seasoning. Now this burner that I'm using here is my little butane burner. This is really great to have for emergencies. I'm just using it here because it's easier to film here than it is at my stove. But this is really a great little stove to have for emergencies. I have this turned way, way down low and it's really simmering. It came up to a boil really quickly. So now that this has been simmering for not even 10 minutes really, it didn't even need the 10 minutes. I'm just going to add the last few ingredients and it's going to be ready to serve. So I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sour cream powder. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of the bechamel powder, which is basically a white sauce powder. It's one of the sauce mixes that Thrive Life makes, and we really love these because they're tasty, they're easy, they're gluten-free, and they dissolve really easily in anything that you're cooking. You don't have to worry about clumps if you add it right into the boiling liquid. It'll stir right in. And not every sauce mix will do that, so these are really fantastic. And that bechamel is going to thicken it right up. The sour cream gave it a nice creaminess, and so did the bechamel, and that's also thickening it. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cilantro. I'm using freeze-dried cilantro because that's just what I have, and I don't happen to have any fresh. But if you had fresh cilantro in your fridge, or if you have it growing in your garden, then that would be wonderful as well. And then the final ingredient is the secret ingredient, and that's what makes this cheesy enchilada chili. I'm going to add a jar of salsa con queso. Okay, so I've got all the ingredients added, and at this point all it really needs to do is to be blended and heated through, and then it's ready to serve. That was super quick, super easy. I had to do no chopping, no peeling, no dicing, no thawing. Just throw everything in the pot and go. This was the perfect meal for the end of a long, busy day. So now this is all ready to serve. Smells really good. A giant bowl of chili. It's very thick and it's very hearty. Mr. Wicked Prepared is very hungry, so he's very excited to try this chili. Now I'm just going to whip up some quick cornbread to go with the chili because I have my Just Add Water cornbread mix right in the pantry. This will be super fast and easy. So all I have to do is throw this jar into the bowl. And I'm just going to whisk to combine these ingredients. Make sure there's no lumps. So now that this is all whisked together, I'm just going to add 1.25 cups of water and mix this together. Now I'm just going to pour it into my pan. This is an 8 or 9 inch greased round pan. I'm not sure which one it is. I wanted my 8-inch square pan, but I couldn't find it. And now I'm just going to put this in the oven at 350 degrees. I've got it all preheated, and it's going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's done. It's done. So now this is done. It did take 25 minutes, but it's all done. And I'm telling you, this is the best cornbread ever. It is so tender and so moist, and it really doesn't have problems with crumbling. I really shouldn't be eating things like this, but I swear this is the best cornbread ever. Okay guys, that's what we had for dinner on this cold, rainy March evening. Cheesy enchilada chili and honey cornbread. It was so delicious, and it was so fast and easy. If I had started the cornbread before the chili, I would have had the chili done before the cornbread was done baking. So don't be afraid to cook with your food storage, especially your freeze-dried food. It can be a great time saver. There's no prep work involved, it's all done for you. You don't have to thaw the meat and cook the meat and drain the meat. You don't have to peel or chop or dice vegetables. And there's no waste. It also helps keep your stock rotated, and it's just a good idea to know how to use the food that you're storing. You don't want to find yourself in a time of emergency and realize that you don't know how to cook with the food that you've stored. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a corn emoji down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.